Today I wanted to talk about Florida law and why Jorge Masvidal likely ended his career when he attacked Colby Covington. First, let's take a look at the charges. George was charged with aggravated battery resulting in great bodily harm with a mask and criminal mischief with a mask. I'll talk about the significance of a mask later in the clip. The first charge we'll talk about is the aggravated battery resulting in great bodily harm charge. It's defined as an intentional battery with a deadly weapon, intentionally causing great bodily harm, or battery against a pregnant person, and is punishable by up to 15 years in prison. Let's go through and check the boxes for the district attorney. Was this an intentional battery? Absolutely. Was a deadly weapon used? Jorge Masvidal, and him being a professional fighter and probably one of the best in the world, is probably deadlier than most weapons besides a gun. So I would say yes. Did George intentionally cause great bodily harm? Absolutely. How does the state of Florida define great bodily harm? Broken bones, broken tooth or teeth, a broken nose, severe swelling to the head and eyes, cuts on a shoulder, substantial bruising, and scarring. Aggravated battery is assigned a level 7 offense severity ranking under Florida's criminal punishment code. What that means is the judge is required to sentence a person convicted of aggravated battery to a minimum sentence of 21 months in prison, but may also sentence the person up to the statutory maximum of 15 years in prison. The only way for George to get out of a prison sentence is through what they call downward departure. And there are a number of mitigating factors. I'm not going to go through them on this, but if you want to pause and read through some of these to see if there's nothing on there. But there is one mitigating factor that he and his lawyers are going to try to use. George is going to try to use number 6. The victim was an initiator, willing participant, aggressor, or provoker of the incident, otherwise known as a mutual combat claim. I've included the rest of the other mitigating factors for this. If you want to pause and look through those, if you need a little bit of a learning on it, you'll see that there's nothing else that George can call besides the mutual combat claim. We learned this when George was talking to the Nevada State Athletic Commission without his lawyers.
I had a mutual combatant with another athlete, and I can't say too much on this, but they told me to say. But if we could table it for later, that'd be amazing as well.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Were you arrested on Monday night?
No, sir. I have not been arrested. At bench warrant, nothing has been set.
You've not been charged? Have you been charged? Have you been charged?
To my knowledge, no, sir. I have not been charged. I do have lawyers on the case.
The following collection of clips is why it would suck to be Jorge Masvidal's lawyer right now.
Calling this Show Your Face Challenge, what's up? I'm from Dade County. You talk shit, you gotta back it up. That's how my city rolls, man.
So I can't wait to send him to the ER.
Like in my area of Westchester, Miami, Florida, I'm known. I got one of the best sucker punches in the business.
Sucker punches.
Sucker punches.
That's not a good thing to be known for.
Hell yeah, it is in the street. It is. If you're a real street dude, you know that you don't tell somebody, "Hey, me and you outside."
Sure.
Nate Diaz, a man of the streets, saw George posting this stuff up and posted on Twitter, "How you going to snitch on yourself?" The second charge is criminal mischief, and because he did $15,000 worth of damage to Colby's Rolex, it will also be considered a felony. Now, this is where George really put the final nail in his coffin. Under Florida statute 775.0845, an aggravated battery charge can be elevated to a first-degree felony offense if the alleged offender wore a hood, mask, or other device that concealed his or her identity. So they can play this down a little bit or figure something out, but this automatically raises that it would normally be a second-degree felony, but this pushes it up to a first-degree felony, and those are punishable by up to 30 years in prison and a hefty fine of $10,000. I think George is going to go away for a very long time. And just my looking at it, I could be wrong. But I also know that there is some hope for George in the United States if you are wealthy and if you have a really good lawyer. Sometimes you can get away with murder. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think I'm right? Do you see it in a different way? I've included a few more clips just to show that there are a few witnesses.
Adam Weiss tells us what he saw.
One guy clocked him about 3 or 4 times in the face. Amazing that what stood out right away was how he didn't even go down.
In this exclusive video from Poppy Steak, just into Local 10, this witness says you can see Covington leave the restaurant when he is ambushed.
I think he was hit by Jorge, and then looked like there were 5 of his buddies around him.
Let's watch again. Masvidal was wearing, quote, a hoodie raised over his head and sweatpants. He stated that he was able to identify Mr. Masvidal by the sound of his voice and by looking at the upper half of Mr. Masvidal's face to include his long curly hair sticking out of the hoodie.
Look at you, I can tell you've been out for at least 5, 6 in the morning.
Yeah, I woke up at 4 to go running.
That's not what I heard. I got a phone call last night. I had people checking up on everybody.
I woke up like around 4.
George.
Got back home at like 5:15. Went to sleep, woke up at 9. And
I know where you were last night. Music was in the background and I heard your voice.
That's a lie.
It's not a lie. You're lying to me.
That's a lie.
What did you tell me? Do you want to be Strikeforce champion? How do you think I can make that happen when you're 4 weeks out from a fight and you're partying to 5 in the morning?
I know where you gotta confuse. Let me finish.
I can smell the alcohol coming out of your pores today.
Alcohol? I've taken like 4 showers anyway. There's no way you can smell anything.
Hey, was George out at the club last night? Was he getting shots all night? You gave me a 2-day food log of you being on your best behavior.
You didn't say what 2 days.
Right? Why don't you just